Welcome back across Nevada to Ralston Reports. We're coming to you from Reno, where lawmakers are meeting just down the road in Carson City. Legislative leaders are promising unprecedented cooperation from both sides of the aisle. Joining me, the Republican leader of the state Senate, Minority Leader Michael Roberson. Welcome back to the program.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing fine. What did you think of what the speaker had to say? Did you agree with everything she said?
Not everything.
Not everything?
No.
Well, what didn't you agree with?
Well, I do think we have to have policy discussions at the same time we're having revenue discussions.
And she essentially said that too.
Well, then
What
maybe.
don't you agree? Is there anything she said that you didn't agree with?
Well, you made the point that I was going to say that any kind of tax reform has to be revenue neutral. I agree with you on that. That is the case.
You agree with me.
Yes.
So you agree with me that my prediction of what you were going to say is right.
It does need to be revenue
Don't we need
neutral.
more money in this state?
Well, first of all, we are extending some, if not all, of the sunsets. We are increasing education spending by $135 million. At least the governor's budget is proposing that over this biennium.
The governor and the Republicans are using that phony $135 million number.
It's not phony.
Most of that is in roll-up costs. 2/3 of it, there's essentially $40 or $50 million in new programs. You know that's the right math.
The fact is, we have limited resources right now. And as the governor said, we have to grow our way out of this recession. We can't cut our way out, and we can't tax our way out.
I hope we're going to talk more about this, but you proposed, as I mentioned, some investment in English language learner. What is it, $20 million a year, right? That's $40 million.
Yes.
Is that magic money, sir? Where's that money coming from?
No, we have to make hard decisions in other areas within the budget. You're going to cut $40 million from the budget to make that work? Yeah, we're going to have to, yes.
Really? Where? Name one place you could cut anywhere close to $40 million.
Well, you know, I'll have a much better answer for you later on the session as we go through the budget. That's why I'm on the Finance Committee, because we do have to identify those areas
you will
where
identify
we can cut.
$40 million. You will.
That's the expectation, because ELL funding is critical to the school system and the children in Clark County and throughout the state, but especially in Clark County.
Even $40 million is just a drop in the bucket compared to Sylvia Lazos over at the Boyd School of Law has done a study. She thinks you need 4 times that much to really have any kind of impact. What do you think of that?
Well, we have to be realistic about what we could do within the revenue parameters we have right now. But I've said to you, I've told other people, I am open to revenue neutral tax reform that broadens the base. Maybe it's a sales tax on services. It's a cliche, but the devil is in the details. We have to look at how it's going to work. We have to watch out for the pyramiding effect. But I can get my head around revenue neutral reform that expands the base. And by the way, something that's revenue neutral today, when you start to capture a larger portion of the economy, as the economy turns around, you're going to get more revenue, and you're going to be able to put more revenue into education, health and human services, various areas. But we've got to be responsible about this. We can't just say, let's raise taxes by $1 billion. That's not going to put people back to work in this state.
But business guys are watching this program right now and say, we elected this guy? This guy's talking about capturing more revenue, putting more taxes on businesses. Are you going to switch parties tonight right here on this program?
No, I'm not going to switch parties, but I will tell you, most people agree that it's a good thing to make the revenue base as broad as possible. And broadening the tax base on a revenue neutral basis is much better than a state income tax, which is what the margins tax is.
You know, I was hoping that you would let me bring that up. Now this is, I mean, you've made some ridiculous statements. We'll both agree on that, but this has to be the most ridiculous. Here's what you said after the Supreme Court came down with the ruling saying the margins tax could proceed. I'm proud to live and work in a state that has throughout our long history rejected imposing income-based taxes on our citizens. For that reason, I strongly oppose this income tax proposal. The margins tax is not even close to being an income. Do you understand what that tax does? It doesn't tax you and me.
I understand very well what it is, and the only thing that's ridiculous is the tax itself, not my statement about it. It covers not just corporations, but subchapter S corporations, limited liability companies, partnerships, even sole proprietors. So it is a tax based on income against Nevada citizens, not just big corporate companies. Small mom and pop companies that have revenues at a certain level have to pay this tax.
Well, we have to take a break because there are people, you know, we have to pay our bills, and some of the people who are paying for these commercials, guess what? They might have to pay the margins tax, but a lot of people won't. How does Senator Roberson get away with calling it a state income tax? We'll finish that discussion when Ralston Reports return.